Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat, the daily vidcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. So today, I'm throwing something out there because I know times are changing. All right. There's a time when many discussions of RPGs happened on forums and Google Plus, and Google Plus got the big FU from Google and got shut down. Um, and my experience is that forums have seen less traffic and less influence over the recent years. More of it's been going to social media like Facebook. I don't even want to say Twitter because that really sounds like shit. And to YouTube videos, even uh, bloggers. Many bloggers have stopped blogging. All right, many of them have shut down their blogs over the years. At least in the OSR, blogging is not the main way to get out there and reach the audience. It's doing something like this. Now I know a lot of people. I've heard it. Uh, doing a stream, doing a YouTube video and talking is the lazy man's way. Well, these are generally from people who aren't making any content anyway, whether it's on a blog, a forum, or a YouTube channel or a podcast. But I figured I'd take a peek at a few of the forums out there. Now, one forum that I believe everybody knows about or should know about, right, is N-World or EN World or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's the granddaddy of Dungeons and Dragons related forums. It's a bit of a news site these days. It's certainly um, pretty much coming around. I'm going to say 360. It was good in the beginning, and then it became a cesspool, and now it's becoming relevant again, especially if you're playing 5e. So, or well, they cover other games too. I shouldn't just say 5e. But when I go to N-World, they've got this section here. You can look at the latest threads on the lower right-hand side. I don't look at that. I look at the articles, see if there's anything there that I need to know about. Is there any breaking news that I don't know about that N-World somehow has, or some interesting tidbits. And that's what I look at. And there are usually threads attached to all of these articles. All right, these articles are really like starter posts for forum threads, but I don't read the thread. I don't read the comments. All right. Now there used to be a time when I used to participate in forums, and I was an active participant in multiple forums. So no longer, especially not with EN World. So what's another one that we hear about in our industry, our corner of the universe, is the OD&D discussion group, OD&D 74. Um, you know, this one always seemed insular to me. It always seemed like you had to be part of the crowd to participate, and never really was part of it. Now, Dragon's Foot, less so, very much community, but again, over the years, from what I have seen, interaction with Dragon's Foot by uh, readers has certainly lessened. And Dragon's Foot is an example that I have brought up in the past, maybe not on this, where bloggers and forum posters, frequenters, uh, are almost like separate groups. And I bring this up because my first North Texas RPG Con back in, oh my God, I don't know, 2014, 2015, years ago, um, that Wednesday night before the con, Rach and I got there Wednesday afternoon. Rach wanted to use the hotel pool, so we're using the hotel pool. And there's one other person in the pool waiting around, waiting, staying cool. And Rach is like, he's probably here for the convention, right? I'm like, well, he could be. I don't know for sure. Well, we should ask him. Rach asked him, are you here for the convention? He's like, yes. She's like, oh, great. Then you must know of my husband, Eric Tenkar. Didn't ring a bell for him. Rach is in the background laughing. He's like, who? Eric Tenkar. He goes, no clue. Just Tenkar's Tavern. And Rach is getting frustrated.
I'm like, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Where
Yeah.
you been at? You've been
She was getting
sleeping on this.
She was getting frustrated. So I asked. I go, are you somebody that reads forums? He goes, yeah. Which one? D&D, Dragon's Foot. And Dragon's Foot. I had to explain to Rach that within the larger community, there were, at least at the time, these sub-communities that were kind of like, oh, I read forums, I don't read blogs, or I read blogs and comments on blogs, but I don't read forums. And the overlap was limited, and that was part of it. It was an interesting observation to make at the time. So, what I find interesting, and is when you look at the traffic, that Dragonfoot's been around for years, and it's a great resource if you haven't gone to it. A lot of free material for your old school games, and they're not much on the simulacrum aspect of it. So if you're playing a retro clone, you might kind of get a bit of a cold shoulder, but they have published a lot of stuff through the site, which is awesome. But when I look at the Alexa rankings, this one doesn't really make sense because you're getting the Pro Board rankings from that. It's not the actual ranking of OD74. But the rankings on these sites, I mean, if I remember, N-World was up in the, I don't know, like mid-20s, and now it's down to 72. Lower is better. The forums have been losing ranking. That applies even to something like RPG.net, Big Purple. I think Big Purple used to be, the RPG forum, and they haven't been for a while. My humble opinion. You go there if you want to read a shit show. You don't go there if you actually want to participate in a conversation. One that I haven't mentioned yet is the RPG site. Now, the RPG site is a bit more Old West. You better strap on your gun and be prepared to defend yourself. It can get nasty, but it isn't going to be nasty because of the mods. It's going to just get nasty because of the personalities involved. There's a difference, I guess. But the RPG site is the only one really that's seen a huge increase in traffic. You can look at that. They've moved up 1 point, almost 2 million spots on the Alexa ranking to under 500,000. Why would that be? Well, they put up a list of companies that you should or should not spend your money with based upon politics. So it's not, and I got a lot of traffic from people that liked the idea and hated the idea or were indifferent to the idea, but were like, all right, it's got to be a shit show, right? It's got to have over 100 pages to that thread, and it did. So controversy will drive traffic, as you can see. at the RPG site. And that's what some people that produce videos or blogs, controversy, right? I don't do the clickbait stuff. I don't do more controversy than stuff that is actually newsworthy at the time. And maybe it's controversial, but it's newsworthy. But the RPG site has conversations going on about different games. It's not all old school. I don't know. I will peruse, but I will not post. I've been asked why by a number of people who post there, and it's like, den of scum and villainy. Not that it's not a good place of scum and villainy, but really, you got to be in the right mindset. And generally speaking, I'm not in the mindset to participate in mudfest going back and forth. But you can find interesting topics there. If you're gonna lurk, not a bad place to lurk. But do you do forums? And when you do forums, are you a lurker? Are you a commenter? Are you a poster? Do you start threads? I mean, these are all different aspects to it, right? Some people will never comment. I'll occasionally comment on one of the other places. Some people just lurk. You never comment. Some people will comment, but they won't start threads. Like they want to give feedback, positive, negative, indifferent in the end, but they don't want to be the one starting a topic. Others frequently start a topic. It's almost like starting a blog post, right? But there's more immediate feedback than a lot of blog posting. Certainly, I would say, than a lot of these videos. I don't know. I'd like to see what your experiences are. Drop a comment. And when you drop in a comment, subscribe, like. Tomorrow, Bad Mike and I, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mike, I believe, is at a convention. Can you believe it? He's on vacation, but I believe he's at a convention with Zach Laser. So I do believe we are going to have a live from the con tomorrow. I could be wrong, but we're definitely going to be live tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Talking Crit. All right, folks, on that note, we are in the midst of the world of COVID. As usual, please, I beg of you, use your common sense. You can't help others if you yourself are ill. Use your common sense. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, and I will talk with you all tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, folks.